Hello again, this is Sam Houston, and welcome to My Front Porch. Who are we voting for and why? Election day is right around the corner, and the political jabbering, complaining, and mudslinging is already in full force. It's little wonder why so many voters become disillusioned about the entire election process. They simply grow tired of all the off-the-wall allegations, misleading social media promotion, and outright childishness. Unfortunately, some voters seem to pick their candidates like they do their breakfast cereal. They really don't know what the ingredients are and whether it'll be harmful or helpful, but they like the commercial they heard on TV and the packaging is appealing. So they grab a box off the shelf and hope for the best. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people are frequently disappointed with the officials they elect. Which candidates do you believe in and why? For the average citizen, it's hard to know which candidates are truthful and purposeful, especially when the candidates do little to communicate their positions, much less their plan. Voters are inundated with broad terms and slogans which give an impression to voters, but which may or may not be true or an actual reflection of the candidate. The candidates do little to clear the confusion because it's so much easier to sway votes and opinions by simply making wide-sweeping, generalized assertions which trigger a voter's fear and resentments. There's less to be accountable to when you never recite a clear plan of action. Once a candidate strikes a nerve with a voter, it's assuming that they'll get the vote. In years gone by of politics, candidates presented a platform where they clearly told the voters where they stood and, more importantly, what their goals were and the steps they would take to reach those goals. You don't see much of that nowadays. Now you hear slogans like "fighting for your liberty" or "fighting for you." Sounds appealing, but what does it mean? What are you fighting and who are you fighting, and what are your specific goals, and how are you going to unite people to accomplish those goals? How about a timeline of what you will accomplish and when? More importantly, instead of blaming the world, the community, and your political opponent for all the wrongs that exist, what are you, the candidate, going to do to solve the problems? We all know that political fires exist. How about someone telling us how they're going to put them out and have the backbone to get the job done? Historically, political parties do not endorse a slate of candidates in the primary. They allowed the election process to play out and then supported the candidates the member of their party selected to move on to the general election. It seems to me it's wiser to trust your own judgment than the judgment of others that have their own motivation and political goals. It's best to vote for the best candidate rather than blindly follow someone's endorsement. What would you say would be the biggest political issues for our county? Traffic and roads, economic development, jobs, a development of our community with well-thought-out objectives to achieve? All of these may be good issues for political discussion, but instead of being out front and talking about these problems, some politicians will be making sweeping statements which do not depict a plan of action. They only depict pandering for votes. Candidates, for goodness sake, tell us what you believe, what your goals are, and how you're going to go about getting your job done. Give the voters a chance to make an informed decision. Your vote is sacred, and it's a tremendous responsibility. Think for yourself. Ask yourself which candidate is going to work to bring people together to solve problems and to make our collective life better. We will live with the consequences of our poor choices. Thought for the day. Politics is the gentle art of getting votes from the poor and money from the rich, all while protecting each other from the other side. Until next time, I'll keep riding the storm out.
You've been listening to From My Front Porch with Sam Houston, brought to you by the Granbury Theater Company. You can catch Sam's column every week in the print edition of the Gatesville Messenger or online at gatesvillemessenger.com.